Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Chrono here, and welcome back to the channel. So we just finished watching our newest NGS headline for January, and we're going to go over everything that you need to know post headline. But before jumping that, if you're here, as always, I'm Chrono. I promote the cover PSO2 content. Would much appreciate a subscribe as we work our way towards that 10K mark. I don't know, maybe by my birthday, maybe by the end of the year. Who knows? Either way, let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, so the headline was pretty solid this time around. It was fairly front loaded, which the past two headlines haven't been front loaded. Mostly it's been kind of even across the board, which I feel like made them felt a little bit more mid than usual. Usually the first half is like super front loaded and the back half is like substantially backloaded, or is like not really all that much in it. Well, truth be told, we got a raid and I kind of lost my train of thought. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into the headline itself. Oh yeah, talking about being front loaded versus backloaded or whatever. Yeah, usually they're front loaded and the back half is pretty light. That they went back to that formula again, which made the first half feel really, really good. And the second half feel kind of exactly what we assumed it was gonna be. So we're gonna go through pretty much just the slides portion of the headline. That's kind of where most of the information is for us. They do talk a little bit about some stuff outside of the slides, but we're really just going to focus on the slides primarily. So the first one we have is extra dual fictitious beam depths 5 to 6 being added in. The depths, of course, are 10 ranks apiece, so it's another 20 levels on the fight itself. We are basically going to be getting some other rewards. Looks like we have Ruin Masquerader's background arcs ID. We also have the camo coming to us as well. We already know about a lot of these things because it was already talked about in a Dengeki article, which we already covered. So in case you watched that Dengeki article video, you already know about the rewards for here. So pretty solid stuff, of course, limited title tasks and all that good stuff. We also have a revival. So 2 revival AC scratch tickets that are going on. We have Hashtag Revival as well as Rewind Collection. Now, I will say one quick note about these revivals and collections and rewinds and things of that sort. It looks like a lot of these have turned into ways of just kind of, if you were to call an AC scratch cash grabby, these are kind of the cash grabby ones of kind of like poking and prodding at people who really didn't play a lot during base game or who have missed some things. Keep in mind, a lot of these things are going to be in like prizes and things of that sort. They're designed to be the things that are kind of really, really good, like, and they want you to scratch for them. Just don't really fall for it. Realistically speaking, unless you want something from the prize pool or the prize count, that's when you scratch, and then just be smart about your money. Decide overall, if you're not spending money in the game, then it's not a conversation for you to have in that situation. Realistically speaking, you're not gonna get everything you want, and that sucks, and I wish it were different, but that's kind of like the game you play when you play live service in these situations, especially free to play live service. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at these scratches and things of that sort. They're designed to want to get you to scratch, which makes sense. That's kind of how anything that costs money works. They want you to spend it. So just be careful, set yourself up for success, and understand that usually if it's an old item, it's probably something that you are actually not going to have access to, unfortunately. Hopefully that changes in the future. Provide feedback in that sort of situation. Maybe it's something that they'll look at a bit differently, but it is something that's worked for them a lot, so I highly doubt it. Oh, also keep in mind, a lot of those items, if they have come to NGS and in the past they have just been AC scratch rewards, a lot of times, even if it is a scratch count bonus prize, it is still sellable. So keep that in mind in those situations. In most cases, like, it's still a sellable situation, it's still a sellable item. So do yourself a favor, don't even get caught up in that stuff. It's just not worth it, man. It really isn't worth it. Looking at some of the newer things, Dark Falls Vial is here. It's an 8-man quest. It is coming along with story. It's an urgent quest. Pretty cool stuff. Basically, we're being called back as the Guardian to fight Vial because he's showing up. Don't really know why or what's going on there. We'll find out when that urgent comes along with. It is on the 5th of February. So pretty cool stuff. It looks like there's a section that you're just gonna be fighting in your arcs or in your Mars. So you are required to have Mars unlocked, which if you don't have Mars unlocked, I don't know what you're doing. It unlocks in chapter 2. So like if you just haven't played, just go over to the counter and unlock it. If you're starting new, you'll get it very early on. So don't worry too much about it. The level cap is raising to 100. This doesn't really mean a whole lot. I know some people are like, you know, level cap raises, ooh, awesome. Ever since level 75, and this has been the case in even base PSO2, the stat bumps aren't really all that important. Now in previous games, they tied a lot of like, you know, a lot of class related stuff, whether it's new skills, whether it's more skill points. They tied a lot of that stuff to level ups and those sort of things. It was very common in base PS2 to tie level ups to skill points, meaning that you kind of like got access to essentially more power. Like your class didn't really change, you just got access to more power. In base game around 85, we got a new skill that we were able to use. So like it's still kind of the same sort of thought process, but it was really like just a stat bump, more or less, and a way to level up a little bit more and get a little bit more power. In some cases, it was a way to get a bit more PP as well. So that was pretty cool. But that's really nothing too crazy. So level 100 is just a nice, interesting number, realistically speaking. Force had its update recently, and now we are looking at Hunter on the horizon along with this one as well. We don't really know how good it's going to be. This is kind of our litmus test to find out, is this a situation where Force and Tector were more of an anomaly, that they did them really well, or is this like a trend that they're going to continue this moving forward? I'm curious to see if Hunter is going to perform. Maybe just the tech-based guys that were working on their classes just happen to do a better idea or a better job. They did mention specifically revamped animations and new class skills, so that's pretty cool, and balance adjustments. Along with this, they're also changing all skills. This is not just for hunters, but all skills that have like a countdown or a cooldown timer at the start of quests down to 10 seconds. I don't know why this isn't just like a 3-second thing or like a 5-second thing, but 10 seconds, it's better than 30, so we'll take it. For those of you who cried about not getting your TWAV, doesn't matter. New 12-star series weapon is now here, is upgrading. Keep in mind that this is pretty much following the overall like time frame of a weapon when it releases. So if you think to when Exilio released to now when we're having these Arcocelio weapons, it kind of does fit that overall time frame. This is the final upgrade for these weapons. They've told us final upgrade for the weapons and the units later on. We'll talk about in just a moment. It looks like the item that's needed to upgrade these weapons are going to come from the urgent quest, and only the urgent quest to start with. It'll also drop from the trigger that they said they also are going to have access to. And as far as the potential goes, the potential is going to generate a follow-up attack after a photon blast. We don't know how strong that's going to make it, if it's going to be super great, if it's going to be, I mean, realistically speaking, projected numbers are telling us it's going to be within like 1 to 2% of your 12 weapons. I don't know if it's going to be stronger or weaker, how that actually works out. A big thing is going to be 12s are still fairly rare, meaning that it's probably going to be a situation of Fixa is going to be your major contender here in this situation. And if you weren't someone with a high Fixa 12 or had access to getting it to Fixa 12 very high, the Celio weapons are pretty easy to get a high Fixa on. So I would say this is kind of your chance to go ahead and push forward. And if you're someone who ever gets in a position where you're like, oh man, I hate the fact that I invested in this weapon and now it's not worth much, this is your weapon series. This will always be your weapon series. Stick to this weapon series. Don't go with any of the others. Crimson Realm is also coming back. It's going to be here for a week. We have it alternating between Noose and Plant and Dex base. Usually it's pretty solid to farm Crimson Realm in general. I'm not sure what they're going to have in Crimson Realm this time around. Last time it was an augment that we got, so you wanted to farm Crimson Realm regardless. So it was pretty solid, but we'll have to see what they decide to do this time around. Oh, hold on. What's the PSA? We also have other improvements they're coming along with. They are increasing storage amounts. So character storage is going to 2,000, which is insane. Premium storage is doubling. Mission pass storage is doubling. Temporary quest storage is going up from 100 to 200. So that's really, really nice. Personal shop items listing are going for 30 to 50. I still say this just needs to be 3 or 5 now, free slots, and then the rest premium slots. That would be so much better overall, in my opinion, but that is just my opinion on the matter itself. We get more slots, so super cool. Recommended content will now be displayed at the top of the main menu for for players. Basically, after you beat chapter 5, basically do your story and give you a recommended thing that you should go to based on your battle power. It's probably not going to be the most right. They're trying. Usually game devs don't get this right. Usually they'll recommend something that's not always the best, but we'll have to see. New battle power options added to the deck. So yeah, they're making it so you can now like fight specific decks in certain NPCs. So that's pretty cool for Line Strike. Oh, also Straga build parts. Moving on, they're going to give a little sale icon whenever there's a sale, and you're probably thinking, well, what if I don't want to buy whatever that sale item is? You get free X cubes for just going there and looking at it. So neat. Basically free X cubes. You get 2 free X cubes every day you go and look at whatever the sale happens to be. This is just kind of a marketing tactic to get you to buy something. Don't fall for it. Take the freebie and walk away. But if you ever didn't know a sale was there, now you'll always know what the sale is, so you're more likely to buy whatever that sale item is. Index Collab. Index Collab is looking dope. I'm actually very excited for this. We have the acrylic stands, which are pretty cool. You get these as you log in with the individual characters, and then the actual scratch. The scratch looks so good. We have 2 type 1 outfits. This is a rarity. They both look dope. I'm hoping you can turn off his coat and you get Accelerator's like striped shirt. We'll have to see. But we've got Tomo, we've got Accelerator, and we got all the girls here with us as well. Super dope. Happy to see this. Really, really like this. And then of course the usual stuff. We have the Line Strike cards, which they're not individual cards. They're more like card skins. They just match another card, so use that card instead of the other card itself. So just cosmetic. Got a bunch of stamps. We have vital gauges and all that good stuff. And of course, We have the emotes and the scratch count prize bonus stuff. The idol, John's pen, and then we have accelerators, dash, and idle, and everything. That looks so good. That looks so freaking cool, chat. I'm actually really excited for that. So we have a new LTQ that is Lower McKeed. It's a 12-man. Thank God. This needs to be more common. 12-man should probably be the baseline now, to be perfectly honest. It's funny because when it was 12-mans, we asked for it to be smaller. Now that it's smaller, we asked for it to be bigger. It's a very, very weird place to be in. But participants can split up to fight ruinous enemies appearing in 3 different locations. Regroup at the end to take on the boss in one fell swoop. So fight a bunch of different bosses. You come together, you fight one big boss. Super dope. Mission Pass Season 41. Just some accessories. Nothing too crazy here. Looks like leg cuffs and ice staff is what they have here. And then we have the Gothic and Sweet series creative space items. We also have the next section of extra duels. So we have extra duels depth 7 and 8. We get an even more powerful Ruin Masquerader. That's going to give us his new mantle. We're also going to get his enraged sword, which looks pretty cool. We also have the trigger crest being added in for the new urgent quest. Now this is important because we need the trigger. We basically need the items from the urgent to upgrade our new weapons. So it's going to be really important for us to actually get these urgents done. If you can't get these urgents done, you want to go ahead and get these triggers done. And you'll be able to get these triggers from the LTQ that we just mentioned beforehand, Ruinous Grand Battle Series. So you're going to want to farm Ruinous Grand Battle Series to get the actual triggers, then run those triggers with your friends to go ahead and get the upgrade items that you need to upgrade your weapons. So we'll definitely be doing that on stream, likely is the case. So we'll have to see how that works out. I also have the AC Scratch Sweet Bitter Fashion. So this one's pretty cool. As far as like, I'll be honest with you, as far as Valentine's scratches usually go, because normally they're pretty corny and kind of weird. You normally dress you up kind of like either a heart or some type of cake or fruit or something like that. But this time around, this looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not exactly my jam. I like the hairstyle, and this is just Iron Mouse. It's kind of funny. But overall, pretty dope. Idle's kind of whatever. The glide's kind of whatever. The coffee break is kind of me, so I like it. We dig this. It looks cool. It is what it is. It's just an AC scratch. So moving forward to the next section, we have a Lucille update. We'll have to see how this actually works out. Lucille updates are kind of hit or miss. Usually they're fun for like the first couple of days, and then you realize there's no reason to actually go into Lucille, and then it stops being fun. But there is a new buff that's going to allow essentially PAs to be better, more or less. It's going to allow follow-up attacks after PAs and techs. Apparently it's supposed to be good for specific PAs. And they're adding Ruin Griffin as a boss, which, I mean, he can die in a fire as far as I'm concerned. We also have the 10-star rarity Trastasis armor. Oh, sorry, the 10-star rarity Trastasis armor upgrading to the 11-star rarity Arcotasis armor. This is actually going to give us a damage bonus as well. So it's going to give us a 0.5 potency damage bonus, along with, of course, more HP and PP. So you can choose which one you want to go with. I'm going to recommend for most people to go with the base one now that HP has more relevance, some of the new EX augments, but you can go with whatever you like. And this is one of your chances to kind of switch it up. So if you like, say you went with Vito like I did, or Vio like I did beforehand, you can exchange it for a regular one, or you can exchange it for a Vito one, whichever one you want to go with. And as is normal, whenever there is a weapon upgrade, there is why'd I forget the word? A support select AC scratch. Now this one is a bit different. So first and foremost, you probably are looking and seeing, oh my God, Lars class augments. They're going to replace our current Inatis. They actually don't. Oh, okay, thank you. They actually don't replace our current Inatis. They're used alongside them, meaning that you now can have 2 capsules on each piece of your gear, which from the perspective of someone who doesn't spend any money at all, then you have to grind everything. Oof, when it comes to your Masquerader, which we'll talk about that in a moment. That's actually not as bad as you might think, because there are cheap alternatives in a lot of these augments. And the fact that there's 2 of them now, that actually means it's even easier for you to build stuff. But from the perspective of someone who does go kind of in, this is actually a major win for one of the strongest augments in the game right now, or one of the strongest fixes in the game right now. Building a band deck is really difficult. And the fact that we're getting another guaranteed useful augment that you're going to be able to combine with all of your other augment capsules that you can use as a separate augment is going to be massive. We'll have to see what we get, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like there's a Lars class version of everything, if there's like a couple of Lars class versions of stuff, like how it's going to work out. But what you'll likely see is you'll see Lars class and Inati class augments on the same scratch, which is going to be really bad for bloat, but again, very good overall for augmenting. So I'm actually pretty excited to see these. We likely will pull on this scratch just because it's going to have something else we need in this prize count bonus, but we'll talk about it when we get to there. That'll be an investment we'll likely do. Next level of Ruin Masquerader. So we're going to get depths 9 and 10. I'm sorry. Yeah, depths 9 and 10. Looks like we're going to be getting his camo from what I can see. There's also the vital gauge. So yeah, we have the enraged camo. So that's pretty dope. And of course, new tasks and all that good stuff. They show off his like some of his attacks. Says he has a new twist. From what I saw, his clones now are fighting you as well. And the big difference in this situation is it looks like he's attacking and the clones are attacking in tandem with him. Not at the same time, but attacking like at alternate times that he's attacking, which is a huge problem for a lot of classes. And the bigger problem is like I mentioned beforehand with the clones, you can't hit them. So gone are the days of base PSO2 where you would just save a nuke and nuke all of the clones plus the boss. Can't do it. Clones aren't hittable. So you have to just deal with them. Another AC scratch, Neon Cat Marshal. So this one is pretty interesting. It has a pretty cool type 1 outfit, has some pretty cool accessories in the mix, has a lot of fairly interesting things that we have here. It also has the mech wings glide. So cast players, you guys kind of win this one. It looks like it's one outfit forever. No, I lied. 2 outfit for type 1 or for type 2, 1 outfit for type 1, 1 cast, and then 1 female cast. So this is pretty standard what we'd expect. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like this outerwear a lot. I'm concerned. We're gonna have to see what we can do with this, but yeah, pretty dope, pretty dope. Another rewind scratch. Same thing applies like beforehand. They're trying to get you to get with the Sorcerer Morris weapon camo is what they're really trying to get you with, and it's definitely a scratch count bonus item. But again, keep in mind with a lot of these, sometimes these bonus items are sellable. So it might be a situation where you can pick it up off the shop, or it could be a situation where it's worth the scratches to sell it on the shop. Up to you ultimately how you go about this, but a lot of times these camos are not really worth it. The newer camos tend to be a bit better, but they're trying to bait you with not missing out on some of these. Apparently there are none available on ship 2. There's some available on other ships, but yeah, it's one of the situations where it's a relic of the past. I'd love to see it brought back a different way, but it is what it is. So they talk about Dark Falls Vial, the new quest, things like that. New story going to be involved with it. They mentioned that, of course, the new urgent quest, the new LTQ being tied into getting the triggers. Nothing crazy there. The weapon upgrades, the fact that these weapons, apparently they're saying they're going to be more powerful than the TWAVs. I would highly recommend waiting until we get the weapons themselves. This is usually something they mention, but they don't exactly say the case. We already know based on potentials, based on classes, this can widely change. For example, TWAV is a very useful weapon on classes like Force, classes like Bouncer, that are classes like Fighter that really capitalize on downs. So it still could be very useful for those classes when you factor in how much damage not only you're getting, but also other people around you. So just keep that in mind. Don't freak out about your TWAV just yet. This likely will be within a couple % of a TWAV is what we're looking at. So just, you know, if you don't have a TWAV already, you're good to go here. But yeah, they show the weapon upgrade. I think, did they show off? Yeah, you can see it right here. The base is 950. So you can see the weapon, pretty solid. New equipment. It's going to require the evolution 3s. You can see that you requires the 1 and 2s, but it's going to require the 3s as well. I already have literally all of these. I literally already have all of these, so I just got to be waiting for the 3s essentially is what it's going to be. Chat's saying that the level 90 version for Acro is 152 power, which is higher, so keep that in mind. I think, did they show it here? No, they don't. Okay, so new weapons, super cool. If you didn't get a 12, now you can get a weapon that's fairly powerful. And they showed it at the top. Okay, then I missed it. No big deal. They also talked about fictitious beam and the new difficulties. They mentioned specifically that players were talking about the fact that it wasn't as powerful as they would have expected. And basically what I mentioned when we first fought fictitious beam was that later floors were the stronger floors. Usually he scales up, usually does more damage. Realistically speaking, Mask back in base PSO2 at a certain point stopped doing new stuff and he just did more damage, took less damage, also took more to kill. He also cut you out of a lot more of your PAs. So it really didn't change the fight very much. It just changed how you approached it slightly each time. So it's one of those situations where you had to add like new weapons and all kinds of stuff. Unless you were a Lester. If you were a Lester, you were just living the high life. But realistically speaking, when it came down to Mask, it didn't really change a lot after certain floors. It's just max floor, he would just basically almost one-shot you all the time. What they've said is that the higher floor difficulties are going to be deserving of the high difficulty title in that situation. Essentially, they heard you talking junk and they're going to slap you for it. We'll have to see. Players are a lot better than they've been before in the past, like really, really good. So we'll have to see if they actually keep up with that. I'm not 100% sure if they will or they won't. I'm looking forward to it. Based on what I've seen of the videos, there's already a lot of things I've never seen Mass do before, and that seems really, really cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. They have some operation report questions. They ask, well, hey, why do my questions never get answered? Big answer for that is mostly they pick questions they know they can give an answer to, regardless of how much of a hot topic it is. They're not going to pick a question and say, we don't have an answer for you. That's mostly the TLDR and paraphrasing more or less, but it's exactly what we expected for the most part. Is they're not going to pick a question that they can't give you an accurate answer to, or they can't really talk to. Has the team considered implementing some kind of feature to allow searching weapons? Yes, they're working on it currently. It's going to be like one of those wildcard searches. We add a question mark in to make it so you can search series much easier. This is going to be a massive W for those of you guys who search for fixes essentially on weapons. You can search by weapon series. That way you can work on upgrading your fixes. We can keep a good eye on like what's the cheapest one. We've been kind of doing other things to get that figured out, but now it's gonna be much easier to do so once that actually comes out. Usually when they talk about these things, it's like the next headline they're saying, hey, it's coming out. So looking forward to that. You can make it possible to use easy photo mode in the ARC's training center. I'm going to actually out myself in this situation. If you are in a situation where boss camera is turned on, you cannot use easy photo mode. They have told us that if you turn off boss camera, you can use easy photo mode. So you can use easy photo mode in the ARC's training center. It's just boss camera was on. I did not know this was the case. I instantaneously said, yes, can you make this happen so I can go ahead and make new thumbnails in the ARC's training center? You always could. I was the idiot. They just literally taught everyone, hey, you're dumb, simply read. Satellite info lets us know that we have the soundtrack coming up. Pretty cool. We also have Central Volume 3 on the way. This is gonna be something that you purchase for 10 bucks. It'll also give you a bunch of stamps along with a couple of emotes. Here's something that's pretty crazy. The Big Bang Scratch. Big Bang Scratch has 2 ticket types you can use on it. It has gold tickets, which are going to be limited time rewards for certain things, probably going to be available in like events or things of that sort. We can get items like transfer passes, up to 10 million Masquerader, 200 star gems, and of course, it looks like you'll also be able to get augment protects as well in the mix. There's also going to be silver holes where you'll have things that are worth a little bit less, things like pass vouchers, reactors in general, like beta reactors, things like that, and there's smaller amounts of star gems. But this will be something that's gonna be up. It sounds like it'll be up consistently. These passes will be limited time, or these will be more available for non-limited time content, so you'll be able to pull on this more often. This is going to cause a bit more inflation overall in the market, because players will have access to more money, whether it be a bit more RNG. It's not really guaranteed, so it's a bit more RNG related. So it's not gonna be as bad since it's a bit more RNG. However, there's another thing they're adding in as well. I'm not sure if we skipped over it already or not accidentally. Hopefully they mention it. It's like, I don't know if it's here, but we'll go over it and just in case we missed it. They significantly increased the end Masquerader exchange items and the Star Gem rewards and the Big Bang Scratch tickets too. And they also have made it so the premium set exclusive login reward bonuses are substantially better. So they have changed it. So you've got beta reactors, star gems, color change passes, and these are on repeat. So these are the extra items that they didn't like tell you about, was the Big Bang Scratch tickets. You can get them from here. So Big Bang Scratch ticket silvers are all listed here. This is gonna be a way you can get them consistently. If there was ever a time to get premium, now is definitely that time. We also have Ultra PSO2 Day Big Bang Burst. So we've got login bonuses that are super awesome. We've got boosts that are gonna be super awesome. Our Conquer Dark Falls to get up to 5 of these tickets, by the way. So that's gonna be insanely good. Definitely make sure you get that taken care of. We also have the reward box, changing the reward box. So this is kind of like a mixed divisive situation, because the reward box was great for offering us, in some cases, free AC items. So old AC items that were usually paid in the past were free for a lot of items in the reward box. Some people look forward to it for that, but a lot of times it was mostly just sell off the items at a cheap cost for a lot of players who really didn't care that much about those items. So unless you were someone who just collected old items, it wasn't really a big thing for you. They have since decided to revamp the reward box into like an actual treasure box. Now it just has a shit ton of star gems and money in it, as well as like some other items mixed in there as well. It's mostly just going to be a resource, like an insane resource reward, where if you finish, you also get a gold ticket. So super cool from that aspect. An L for people who like to, you know, collect old stuff, but this is overall going to be a W when it comes to money and star gems. So pick your side. It is what it is. I like this change, but I also respect the fact that some people don't. It's totally fine, but I think this is actually going to be overall better for most of the community. Just an L for those of you guys who like to collect the old fashioned. Sorry to see it. Hopefully it comes back in a better way. Also, of course, login reward bonuses during Ultra PSO2 month. Again, if there was any time to get premium, it is during February and kind of also in March. We'll talk about it in a minute, but yeah, if there's ever a time to get premium, get premium. So during the 5th anniversary campaign, PSO2 Day 5th anniversary campaign, Ultra PSO2 Day Big Bang Burst is up to an extra 300% multiplier. It's up to plus 400% rare drop rate multiplier. Is going to be nutty. If there was ever a time to farm deck space, my dudes, now is that time. Go farm your deck space, make your money. Don't cope and try to farm or chase an item or a weapon. The chase weapon is gone. You likely are going to have to scale it. Make your upgrades. Go farm your money. Buy your fashion. I release you. Purchase your fashion. But yeah, this is me thinking about all the extra money we're getting. Love it. I believe that's it. Yep. Next headline is going to be in March. It is March 4th on a Tuesday. That is my birthday month. Should be awesome, but also Monster Hunter. And that's basically it. Overall, to be perfectly honest, the headline is a little bit of a mixed bag. It's between like a 7 and 8 for me. It's more of an 8 because it's a lot of really good changes for overall the player base. But there's some things where I'm like, I'm missing out on some things I really, really liked. I would have liked to see certain things change. Hunter, I know some people are like, yo, I wanted to see the Hunter stuff. They don't ever show these things during the headline. They very rarely show much during these headlines. The only time they really showed a whole lot was like for the Bouncer stuff. And that's because the Bouncer was getting a full-on renewal. This is an expansion for every other class, meaning you're not going to see a whole lot. We know guaranteed you have new skills. We know guaranteed you have new animations. We know guaranteed you have some revamped and rebalancing that's happening. And a big part of this also is going to be the fact that there were some things shown off, but because the video is so insanely grainy, it was really difficult to see. Some things we noticed where it looks like there was a follow-up after the counter for Wired Lance. It looked like there was a couple of new skills, and it looked like the Wired Lance's PB was a little bit different as well. So we'll have to see. There might not be any note of it, or it might not really matter, but they also purposely showed off a Hunter jumping in front of another player and blocking incoming damage that was going towards the player. Like, I'm not sure why that matters, but they did show it off. Now, when the Hunter information does come out, there'll be patch notes for that update, and we'll cover them when it comes out. So just keep that in mind. We'll cover them in its own separate video. So if you're really curious, it'll be a good time. So that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to toss in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anything. Also in the comments below, let me know what you guys are excited for. The new depths of Masquerade should be pretty cool. Yeah, that's about it. Like if you enjoyed the video, sub when you keep up with more. As always, thank you to the channel members. You guys are fantastic, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my friends. Peace out.